Hello trendsetters, this video is for everyone that may be running an old ABB video logger unit. This is an SM500. It's about 10 years old. We've got two of these. The first one buggered up probably a year or two ago. Did the upgrade on that, and I've just finished the upgrade on this. So the way you'll know you'll need this upgrade, and it's called the screen upgrade kit, and you'll need the serial number off the device so they can tell you how old it is and get you the right kit. I think 2013 it might have changed. This is pre-2013. So if your screen goes really dim and noticeably dim, and you'll put your SD memory card in to record, and it won't recognise it, won't like it, just starts randomly doing it. If it starts randomly doing it, get the upgrade kit, because it can take ages to get it, because it's on its way out. It was about $1,000 Australian just now, or late 2024. So now I've just upgraded this one, just turned it on, and I'll take you through that process and some little tips and tricks along the way. And I'll chuck a memory card in, and before it wouldn't recognise it at all, and now green light, you'd be familiar with that, and it's recording. And previously, for about 6 months while we wait for parts, could not use this machine. So the screen upgrade kit, the video to follow will talk you all the way through it, and some tips and tricks for starting up and not getting the black screen of death and other issues with jumper switches being in the wrong position. Alrighty, I'll enjoy the video. G'day folks, welcome to the in the middle of the bush ABB SM500F display upgrade tutorial video. First off, open the front door. Leave all of this intact, don't remove it from the wall or anything like this. Everything we're working on is in there today. These are all your channel chips for your different devices. Anyway, moving right along. So the first thing you want to do is remove the black case with the yellow writing that fits in there. And that's just that screw there, you can see. Pop that out. Next, take off this cover that covers the hinge and protects that flexi strip cable connector. So that flat connector, we need to remove that next. But to remove this piece, you'll need Torx spanners, and I think that is size T8 Torx. Alright, so to get that flat ribbon out, that flat ribbon is coming out of that beige connector. This is a locking bar, this dark grey section. So I've just prized that with some long nose pliers to pull it up. You need to completely release that grey, dark grey locking bar back to release this tape. Just don't pull on the tape. So you can see there I've got it up this end, and without scratching that, I'm going to try and work that all the way open. Probably use my fingernails, not this, and I'll unlock that bar, then pull that tape out. So my fingers are way too big for this activity. Now I've got it started, I may be able to finish off trying it out with my fucking doover here without damaging anything. Work my way along, and I think I'm almost there. Alright, the other end just unlocked. So now that's just flapping around that grey lock piece. Hopefully that's still focused. So now I should be able to pull this white tape, and yeah, it just lets go. And there's the bed sections on the back that you don't really. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is pull the hinge pins out of these two hinges, and then we'll have the door off. So that'll be video number 2. Righto, so door is off. These are the little rolled split pins that are in them, and you just discard those because they usually get pretty beat up depending how you get them out. I just used a jeweler screwdriver and give them a light tap out. So yeah, then we can head back. What I'll do at this point, should have done this first, is go over the instructions and let you pause it on any page you needed to have a read. Next step is we've got this hinge arm. We're going to remove, there's a cover here, a clamp. You can see the shine on it. It's just a bit of clear plastic or Lexan or something with a little indent there that you can put a little screwdriver under, being careful not to scratch the ribbon tape. And then we'll pull all of these Torx screws out and we'll expose the board inside there. Rightio, so we removed our 6 Torx screws, removed the cover. Now we've exposed the board, and note, while taking that clear plastic off that clamp, off that joint, be very, very careful. It's very tough to get out, and you don't want to be burying a screwdriver into this tape and damaging that. There'll be something else to replace. Alrighty, so now we can remove this connection, and that's that simple dark grey bar, just like we experienced earlier. Easy peasy. The next one, this one here has got just a word of warning about this little connector. That was quite difficult to get out. Probably because this is like 10 years old, but I just had to keep wiggling and wiggling. I ended up bunching all the wires together and just gently wiggling, and it took like 5 minutes. You can see there a little shoulder of plastic broken, but it doesn't affect it. But yeah, be very slow and gentle, because if you create more damage, it's basically going to probably ruin the whole unit. Alrighty. So we'll move on to the next one. Rightio viewer, so that's this connector off, and that was just a matter of little by little sliding it until it come off all those pins as one big unit. One last one to do is this grey lock bar off this connector as well. That's pretty easy to manage, so I'll move on with that. And then nothing else will hold this board down now, so then we can lift the board up and work what's under it. This is actually rubbish now. Rightio, next step is to remove this board, and the way we do that is we pop out that black, well, they call it a snap-off clip, but it pulls out. It's like a little plastic tar clip, and then that makes all of this redundant. We throw that in the bin, disconnect this cable here before you throw it in the bin though. Alright, so now we've removed 4 Torx screws, and now we can lift the screen up. And we'll be replacing that one too. Okay. Well, so then we have corner screws and that little screw in there come out, and then it will separate from the screen. I of course fed this tape and this connector through the right holes without damaging them as I magic that away. Cool. Still with me? We got a ways to go. Rightio. So now we get rid of the screen. Next step is we're going to use our side cutters and probably a very sharp knife and get rid of these little posts. There's four of them, but we're only getting rid of 3. These here. Cool. Alright, so we'll get rid of them. Alrighty, so now we get our new screen out. Word of warning if you didn't read it on the instructions earlier. It all comes in these anti-static bags. Make sure you keep touching metal stuff and earth yourself out, and it doesn't like static. So anyway, keep that in mind. Rightio, so the first thing it calls for is to insert cable P into this connector. So that's in the bag that comes with the battery. So when we go to install that, it's got that dark grey bar again, but it's a different style of lock now. It doesn't slide out and let that go. It slides out and hinges up. I don't know if you can see that. And that is a hinge there. So that's hinged up. So now we can slide that in and then close that hinge. And it may or may not have a little lock slide as well once it's in, but I'll check that once I do that with both hands. Rightio, so I've installed the tape while that bar was up and then locked it down. And you just wiggle it in, probably like only 1.5 millimeters somewhere. You just can't wiggle it in anymore. Pay attention to the alignment though when it's in the right position. You know, it would only take a little bit off to probably damage the tape, probably make it really hard. I think you'd know if you had it not lined up properly, but the edge of the tape and the edge of the black should line up pretty well. But anyway, that's that in. The next thing we're going to do is mount this screen to the mounting plate, feeding this cable through the slot that we took the other cable out of. The screws, make sure you use the new screws. They're self-tappers, and none of these screw holes here have got threads in them. So your new screws, which there's only 2, will self-tap. Cool, so I'll just get that together. Rightio, so the tape threaded up through hole N, they're calling it, and the 2 screws, the one in there and the one there, are now inserted and self-tapped into the screen. So now that's secure. Okay, so with our new display, we pulled off the protective film off the front, cleaned the inside of the glass of the door because it's all going back together now. And then the keypad interface off the front of the door, its cable here, this flat one with the big connector we took off, that needs to be threaded up through that hole there. So that's ready now to put those 4 Torx bolts back in to connect the door to the spring mount. So we'll do that. Rightio, so next clip we have the new board out, ready to go. Remember, it's all come out of anti-static bagging and stuff like that. Make sure you keep touching metal stuff and try and get rid of anti-static. Tip for young players, try not to touch any metallic stuff. Like, don't put your fingers across a heap of terminals, grab stuff or put it in your palm, grab over the edge of the PCB, try not to touch anything metallic, just to eliminate those risks. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is put these 3 connectors back in. There was 4 when we pulled it apart, remember? There was an inverter cable that came around into that connector, but that's redundant now because we got rid of that part. So now we've got 3 to connect, the 1, 2 and the 3 just under there. So you remember that was just an easy big block sliding on the pins. These were easy, we just slid those grey bars out that unlocked it and pulled them apart, so reverse order for those 2, except just be aware that we pried those out to unlock it, but when you put it back in they actually hinge up so you can easily get them in there. What I like to do though, what I like to do with it, like I do this all the time, is hold it up. Don't put this into its spot yet. Hold it up and put those ribbons in that position. Then you can lower it down and do that last black big bolt connector. Otherwise these ribbons will be incredibly hard to get in if that connector's hard up against there and you've got to bend this ribbon, all that kind of jazz. So anyway, we'll get that far. And a tip for young players, folks, once you get those two in and you lay it in, then you can feed up this connector and put it in. But opening that reminded me, there's no battery in there yet. So it does come in the kit, so we'll put that in. It's not actually mentioned in the instructions though, so if you're feverishly concentrating on those, you might not realise the battery until it's too late. You can see it's there in the old one. Alright, so I'll put that new battery in, and that looks like it is positive. Oh yeah, it says it on there, positive to the frame, so it'll be positive this side and negative up would be its orientation. Alright, so I'll get that battery in there and continue on, and then we obviously put the back cover on. Then the clamp on the back of here and the hinge guide, and then we could plug this back into its port in the wall mounted unit, and then we can do the hinges, or we should probably do the hinges first, then that, and then you get a new serial number sticker, I think, or something. Oh no, it's just the Windows compliance sticker, so it must retain the same calibration serial number. Cool, and that pretty much wraps it up. So the putting it back together anyway, we'll start her up, see if she works when I get that far. Rightio, you mad rooster. This is the screen you should get when you start her up. The photos I just put up, the black screen with the message and then the system boot screen, were not what I was expecting, but as it turns out the black screen with the little message, that was because I started mine up with my memory SD card in it, and it tried to boot off an SD card, like, you know, doing an upgrade. So I powered down, removed my SD card, started again, went past the black screen, then it got to a system upgrade screen, you remember from the photo I just put before this little bit, and it was saying the system boot switch is in the down position, needs to be in the up position. So I looked in the manual for the SM500 unit, no reference to it at all. Looked in the instructions for the new board, no reference to it at all. So I just had a look through my videos I've been taking for this video, compared to the old board, and of course this switch is in a different position. So you can see there, that's in an up position and that is in the down position. So my new board was in the down position, so I changed it to the up position, and then I turned it on and it actually works. So that system boot switch is right there.